bet you this has started and I didn't even notice, right? Yeah. Hello and welcome back to the stream. This is Katie with Atelier Nikuzuki. And we are live. Okay, I'm just gonna scoot this over to make sure that everything still like works through to YouTube, blah, blah, blah. So we obviously have a very large overhead view. Hello up there. And we have Kat coming up behind us. I am sorry for the delay. I remembered that we actually have to cut leather straps for the Kato bags, and I had forgotten this. So what we're going to do is we're going to sit down and cut the leather straps first, and then if we end up having enough time, I'll go through and we'll do the branded leather tags, because that's actually what was supposed to be happening. Hello, I think I'm back. One moment. Okay, so Flynn walked across the keyboard and ended the stream as far as I can tell. But I think it just went straight back into the actual stream that we were in. Okay, anyway, I had forgotten that we needed to cut the straps that are the handles of the Kato bags, so that's what we're doing. I was going to bring everything over, but then I realized the smarter decision is just to bring the drawstring channels, because the drawstring channels are what we can actually do for most of these against the fabric, and we can decide what we're actually going to do for a color for leather. I am actually going to zoom that phone camera in here so that it is focused in less on my head and more on the pile right here. So give me 1 second, we'll do that, and then we'll go into some more cutting here. Alrighty, come here my pretties, and we're going to go down to probably the back dual camera. No, that's still too tall. Just the back camera I think will do for us tonight. Okay, that's a little bit better. Not perfect, but better. So I'll show you a combo of the colors between like up top and down here. And then we'll go in and obviously we'll strap cut the leather down here, and I'll widen the camera back out then. Obviously Royal Cats. Easy, it's a black handle. I was smart and brought over shears, so we can just take, these are all leftovers from when I cut for Knit City. And so we can take these and just use them as a template to cut these down. Now I'm pretty sure a lot of these, or at least some of these, were supposed to be handles for like big bags and stuff, but like they'll have like small defects in the actual cut of them. So this one's got like a waver right here, so we can't really use it anyway. So that's what ends up getting used for Kato bags instead. So let's make a pile and we'll figure out how many we actually need, and then we'll go in and we'll do the actual cutting. I've already got 4 black ones, and it looks like this, or 4 brown ones, and it looks like this black one is, yeah, that one will be fine for a handle as well. Royal Cats is going to be black, Alice will be black, Black Cats Cosmetics will be black, Capybara are going to be brown, because that's going to look good. Alpaca pom-poms will be brown as well. This cat on teal is going to be black. Shiba Inu, black for the blue, and then I'm going to do brown for the vanilla fleck, because the vanilla fleck is like a little bit warmer tone. Black for the purple butterflies, black for the sakura. I think I did black for the webbing, but I think we should do brown for the handle for the Sonata-kun. We'll also do the same for the Shiba Inu. Black for that one, because that's those black cats and like compacts. Sneaky Floral Cat will be black as well. Trains is going to be brown. All the cats is going to be brown. This one is Raindrop Polar Bears, so we're going to do brown for that. Black for this Alice, brown for the floral wreath cats. Black for the blue, black for this, and black for these guys. And then we'll cut one more for the more cats, and so one more of each for more cats and for the housekeeping cat, because housekeeping cat needs a black one and more cats needs a brown one. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 10 browns. That means that we need 6 more cuts of brown. And I did pull out some of the pieces here so that we can, once we actually get to branding, we can use this either for an experiment or to actually make some. Okay, so we need 6 more brown cuts. So like in this case, there's a big chunk out of the leather right here. So that's why we're going to be able to use it. Now this leather is really cool. It's called pull-up leather. So when you bend it, it actually does lighten and then it goes back to its normal tone when it's unbent. It's a little bit cold in the basement right now, so you might see a little bit of like a chalky discoloration, but that's not actually an issue when the leather's getting used. It's only an issue because it's been sitting in the basement and it's a bit chilly. So I am very glad that I remembered that I needed to do straps today, because otherwise I would have gotten to sewing everything together and been like, I don't have straps. So tonight is the leatherworking night. All right, 5 and 6. So we need 10 brown, and then I don't know how many black yet. But we've got 6 brown now, and that is too short. Still have to figure out what I'm doing with these like small cuts that I can't use here. Thinking that like a nice loop of some description might be nice. I don't know. But there's lots of pieces like that, and I'm like, I don't want it to go to waste, but I have no clue what I should do with it. All right. So what I say, we're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. 8. Should I be using my fabric shears for leather? Probably not. Will they survive this time? 100%. No, the divot is like just far enough up there that I can't use that last little bit of piece. Yeah, because it would end up being like about an inch too short. Damn it, that's annoying. Okay. Well, let's cut it and just see. Because it's not like I could, if it messes up, it's not like I'm using it anyway. Yeah, it's too short. Okay. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I know they need 2 more. Damn it. Can I just... Okay, so we'll strip this one down with the strap cutter. There's 1, and then we can strip this down with the strap cutter as well and make 2. Yeah, sweet. Let's do that now. Now with the side that's beside me, I will have to like actually go off mic probably and cut it. But with this small piece, it's not a big deal to just do it in my lap, basically. This is why my cutting table is walk around in the cutting room. Typically, I would be doing this in the cutting room, but it is still a disaster because we are technically in the middle of tidying up still. So, but part of why I want the the cutting table to be able to be walked around is that then when I'm cutting leather like this, it's easier to walk from one end of the side to the other because they are not small. Go. So that one has a little bit of a defect there apparently. That's fine. So we only need 2 more out of it technically, but I may as well strip the rest of this down as much as I can. Yeah, because it feels like this is, oh yeah, okay, this would have been the So Tandy will do straightening cuts for you so that you've got a nice straight line to cut your straps from. It's one of the services that they provide for their hides, and it's a very nice service. Because I am lucky in the fact that I can actually do a straightening cut on my cutting table. I've got a large enough space to do it, but like a lot of people don't. But they make sure that you get all the pieces of the actual leather because you've still paid for it. So this is, however, why I want a strap cutter, because like even there, it's a little bit of a messy cut, which is annoying. So we'll pull it back through here. How am I going to clean that up? Or do we ignore it and use it for the Kato bag because it won't be as noticeable? Let's see if I can push this back through and get it just slimmed down that tick. Yeah, there we go. There we go. That's better. Kind of. Okay. Set that one aside as like use as a last thing, and then this is just a remnant that's done. Okay. Oh, and we could strip this down as well. I do find the sound of leather cutting extremely satisfying. It's very like rhythmic and soothing. So since I came on this afternoon, Disney has done a bunch of announcements. I knew that they were doing a bunch of park like expansions and like they're earmarking a bunch of money for the parks in the next few years. But they also just announced Moana 2, which I didn't even know was like a possibility. That's one of our favorite recent films. And so I think we've just found the first movie that the kids will go to. So that's exciting. Okay, that's actually too short too. All right, I only technically need 2 more cuts, so let's just get those done here. So what these are for that band that actually goes around the Kato. The Kato are actually the reason that I started getting into leatherworking, because I wanted to be able to like upgrade the handle experience basically versus like doing a fabric handle, which is totally a valid option, just not what I wanted to do on my own product. So this is where we're at. Plus I wanted to be able to offer like crossbody straps and stuff for them in leather too. Now I just need to actually get better at having crossbody straps available, because that is apparently really difficult for me. All right, so there's the 10 for the brown. Now we're gonna go in and do the black. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and then 14, because we're going to cut the housekeeping cat's handle as well. Now that's all these little shavings and everything are garbage, so I'll set them back there. What did I just say? 11? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14. I need 14 straps. Alrighty. Let's get into it then. Alright, so we're going to start with the one that's already cut. Except, it's got to be trimmed down. So, 1. What? Oh man, I thought it was actually long enough. Apparently it is not. Okay. It's kind of like that other one that it's like, it's nearly there, but not quite. Okay, so we'll start with this one then. So, clean up this edge a little bit because it's a little bit meh. So 1. No, that one doesn't work either because it gets too skinny. Okay, and then that one's got a cut on that side. Alright, definitely need to figure out what to do with these offcuts that just like, they're not going to work. Okay, That is acceptable. So, 1. My goodness. And 2. Yeah, so I went for my blood work, and my doctor apparently had also ordered an ECG, which was wild. That's not something that's in my normal workup for the year, but she apparently thought there was a need for it. I'm like, all right, I'm on board for this. So I'd much prefer to be proactive about that sort of thing than reactive. So I do appreciate it. But yeah, she was like, yeah, now we're going to do an ECG. And I'm like, what? Here's how you prep for it. I'm like, all right, let's do this. It always takes so long to set up for that, though, and it's like a 10-second reading. Like, it took me longer to get undressed for it than it did to actually take the reading. It's ridiculous. All right, there's 4. We've got 5. And then figured out that a bunch of changes I had made around Christmas didn't translate properly for the pick your own orders. So pick your own orders from Christmas were supposed to be marked as 8 to 10 weeks. I found out that the template had not published, and where it did publish, it had a much shorter time frame. So that has all been rectified. But as I was mentioning earlier, I made sure that it was a longer time frame because of the vacation and just the show and everything that was like directly afterwards. So I am sorry for the lack of information that was available on the website. Obviously that was not my intention to mislead anyone with like processing times or anything like that. Why do you keep doing this? It's annoying. All right. Okay, this one needs to have a little bit of straightening done to it because it's just not quite on. I was going to tell you who the author of my book is, and I still cannot remember. It does have explicit on-page smut. So if that's not something you're into, do not pick it up. If that's something you're into, it's The Widow on Rose Hill. Again, I wouldn't say that it's like a spectacular book, but it's entertaining right now, and that's what I need. Okay, it's just bending it over. All right, so we'll just avoid that end because that is the end that's like blech. Okay, and how many do we have? We've got 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. Okay, so we're halfway. 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, and that's not cut straight enough to do another one. Damn it. Wonder if I could straighten it out with my shears. Don't think so, but we can try. It's not gonna. What am I gonna do? Not use it? So there's actually, hey, get out of here. Don't be a pest. Dahlia, you cannot destroy the leather. Okay, so there's 10 out of 14. Now we'll see if I can make my mic stretch all the way. If not, then we will pop it out. But we're gonna trim down some more leather to use for these straps. Now typically what I do is these do get trimmed out of like the crossbody straps and also the other bloody blahs, like the handles for the Luxe tote bags as well. Stop. Don't be a jerk. Anyway, so what we'll do is, well, that's more or less what we're going to do anyway. Stop. Dork. Cat. No. Come on. Chill. Also, I totally did my yoga while the kids were kind of sitting at the table after dinner, but I had to release the youngest in the middle of it, and I am not doing that again. I'm not doing the yoga again when they're still awake. It'll be post bedtime now, which kind of sucks because it's not easy to get myself motivated to get out of like downstairs and do yoga after they're in bed. Heck, it's hard enough to get myself motivated to come downstairs to work, and I like working, typically. Okay, something has happened here. It looks like this edge was really angry, so let's see maybe if I need to cut it from this end. It might be like a little bit better temper. We're getting down to the belly bits of the leather now on this, and they are softer, so I have a feeling we might have to do like a little bit of a push shove game to get this through. That's fine. I prefer to use as much of the leather as I can, and it's not like the wristlets on the there we go, the wristlets on the Kato are at like high risk to stretch and get gross if I'm using more of a belly cut, because that is why you don't want to be using the belly cut of leather for a lot of strap work and things like that, is because it can stretch, basically. But this is such a small amount that there shouldn't be too much stretch in the leather as it is. Alright, I do think we only need to actually cut one pass here, given that, as long as I don't mess the cut up like I just did. Okay, we're going to actually cut this edge off because that's useless to us anyway, and it's just messing up our cuts. Ow. Now we'll try and do it again. There is enough there for at least a couple, but now it's a little bit warbly because, of course, I messed it up. Okay, let's get this. Okay. I think this is just a soft edge, so honestly, I think cutting from the other edge is probably still a better idea anyway. So we'll do one more pass, because why not? May as well do it while I've got all the tools out and I'm in strap prep mode. But yeah, this is definitely why I am looking into investing in a strap cutting machine. Yes, I can do this by hand, but I feel like a strap cutter would just make this a much more efficient process for everyone involved. And a much more like accurate process actually is the biggest part of it. Efficient in the fact that like it would be faster, but also more efficient of like materials as well. So like there'd be less potential for warbles like that I just had. I just had again as well. It's part of why, however, I also want to have the cutting table set up to cut the leather on, because it'll be easier to keep it straighter on a flat surface, typically. Not a big deal as long as it's like even if it's a little bit smaller than the intended cut, as long as it's straight. There, I think we did do a pretty good job of that one at least. Yeah, feels good enough. All right, I'm gonna roll the black up because I think we're done with it for now. The black is only for handles. I'm just taking a look at trying to see what I actually have on hand for leather right now. I think I've got a couple more. I think I've got another black hide and a couple more brown, and then I've got this one that's on the chair here beside me. That's the oil tan brown that I really like. All right. There we go. I don't think I need to cut. No, we don't need any more brown cuts right now. And I'm not setting myself up to do any crossbody straps right now, so we're good. All right, so we had, what, 10 out of the 14 or something like that? Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, 9 out of the 14. Here's, all right, so 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. All right, and then that's where it gets warbly, or very thin at least. So we'll do 14 from this one, and then we can go and we can do the high cat. And we can do the things that we need to do. We need to brand the cut and brand the tags for this. All right, so we're not going to use the brown tonight. Oh, it's quite a bit stiffer. It is easier to cut than that black was. The black has been pretty consistently soft whenever I've gone to cut it, so. All right. Let's lay it out this way then. This brown is really nice because it's got that pull up, but it's also like actually, it is a utility side, but it is dyed or tanned by SB Foot, and they're the people who do the leather for Red Wing shoes actually. So it's a really nice tan job. All right, and apparently my camera on my phone is just going to refuse to be cooperative tonight. On stream. That's not even an issue with the actual phone. That was an issue with the streaming software. All right. So there's the leather. Done. There's the handles. Done. All these bits and bobs I will figure out what to do with later. I think they might just be garbage, but I don't know. It just feels like such a big waste. And if you've been watching me for a while, you know how much I hate waste. So I'm going to put you on BRB and get myself untangled here and up to the desk to do the actual leather branding. So I'll be right back. One moment. just realized I'll come back because why I needed that brown out was more not for the actual like straps, but because we actually need leather to make the other things, the actual stampy stamps things. My brain, guys, is like done. Anyway, we need to do the branding, and I just realized I should probably test this leather before I fully commit to like cutting a bunch of it up. But live dangerously, right? This is leather that I got at Buckskin last year. It's quite soft and supple. It's gonna make really nice handles. But I think the color will look really good for actually doing the burning as well. So I just gotta find which side is more the belly side. So I take my labels out of the belly side because obviously, like I just mentioned, the stretch is a major factor in this. Yeah, and this is the belly side. So as you can see from it, kind of, it's a lot more like warbled. It's not very straight because it's the belly. So, and then the back up here is where you want to be cutting the majority of your straps, and it already has like a straighter edge as well. So, oh, it smells so good. Okay, so yeah, I'm basically just going to go in and I'm going to cut down some of these big swoops that are kind of happening. There's a really big one right here that'll be good to experiment on, because it's not like I can cut a full strap out of that anyway. I can't even really cut like a wristlet handle out of it. And then we're going to do the same here. It's also where a lot of the processing marks end up being as well. So the one thing Buckskin doesn't do that Tandy does, as I mentioned before, is that they do the straightening cuts. So these have not been straightened yet. That is something that I'll have to do myself later, and that's fine. But it will be something that we'll end up doing actually on the cutting table, not on the floor like we are doing right now for just getting excess warbles off. I'm going to cut this one down too. And here's the thing, I can still always use the pull-up leather as well. It's just I was like, let's try something different tonight. And based on those counts, I think we need what, like 25 or so. Actually, I'm going to cut straight across here as well because there's a big nick in the hide right here too. And we can get a few brands from the leather on here as well. There we go. Alrighty. Anyway, so yeah, I can still use the pull-up, the brown leather that I showed you just a little bit ago, but we'll start with this one because I think it's going to make some gorgeous brands. Obviously I don't know yet, but may as well try it and see. It's a little bit cooler brown than the other one. The other one is a very nice warm brown, so that's part of it. I hope I have taken it out right. I think I have. There's definitely like, it looks like there's actual tanning implement marks on here, and there's definitely like, it's very interesting to see the different hides because it's like, this is not a very high-end hide. So there you can see the scarring and nicks and scrapes and stuff that actually was part of the skin of the animal, which is really, really cool because it does give it like a character you don't necessarily see in like a non-utility or more expensive side even. So yeah, it's cool. I like it. So 1, 2, cut that in the middle there because there's no point in that. Yeah, no, that's definitely, those are definitely marks for like, it must have been for the stretcher or something like that. All right, so how many, what, 14 and 10, so we need 24 brands. That should be more than enough material there. So let's swing around, and I'm gonna put all these offcuts. I'm just gonna get them out of the way of the cats, and they're gonna go in the small box. All right, let's put them in the Kato drawer for now, since they're offcuts from the Kato bags. There we go. And then that's garbage, that's fine. And now we will be back in just a minute. All right, we're back at it. Just get myself out of studio mode here, because otherwise I can't see what's actually getting seen on screen. Gonna have a little bit of drink. This is warming up. It does get very hot. This is not a caffeinated drink, unfortunately. Which just realized I left all of the leather behind me. Alright, so we'll wait for this to warm up, hopefully enough. And then we will be going in with the heat iron. And hopefully this leather works with this brand. So now we just wait. It gets supervised because it gets very, 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 very hot. We're gonna pop a few things over here. Eventually, okay, well that's fine. I'll just pick it up before I leave. So basically you're on top of a big pile of fabric right now because this is one area. I got it tidied up and ready, and then I needed to use the space for actual, like, we're going to continue to tidy up from this desk. But, you know, you do what you got to do. There are big bag handles here. Alright, so yeah, so we're just waiting for the leather, or for the brand to warm up, and then we'll go in and I will brand the leather. And then I've got an arbor press we'll pull over, and I've got a die that goes over top of it, and we cut it with the die. Okay, so this leather does mark really easily, so that's good to know. Okay, but the scuffs do come out fairly well, so that's good too. Okay, that's still warming up. Since I haven't worked with this leather before, it will be interesting to see, because they all take a little bit different time and like pressure and blah blah blah. So it'll be interesting to see what this leather needs to actually do the brand. I did buy it to do straps and stuff like that, but I'm kind of looking at it like I don't know how much usable material there is in there for straps. So even if it becomes just for branding, that's fine too. So I am seeing that like actually the dye on it is not very even as well. There's actually quite a big line in there. So I think in that case that'll be our experiment piece, because I think the rest of this is a little bit more, yeah, it's more consistently dyed. There's a couple splotches there, but like I can work around that. But I can't really work around that big a difference there. So this can just be our test stamping branding before we start to actually go in to brand the rest of the leather. I need 24, and I think I can get that many out of what I have here. So even if I don't, I do have a few left over from the last time we did Kato bags, so I'm not that worried about it. Alright, let's go in and see. So we're going to go in, and I'm going to say that this is going to need about 10 seconds. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Nope, it's going to need more than that. That barely even left an impression. So it could be that's not completely warm yet, although it is radiating a lot of heat. Let's try it again in approximately the same spot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, this might not work at all. Okay, well that's good to know too at the same time. So this is one of the things, I use chrome and oil tan leather. Realistically, for branding, you should be using probably veg tan, and actually it might be worth getting a hide of veg tan just for this, or like small pieces to make my tags out of at least. But sometimes they don't always take the brand, and that isn't the nice thing about the pull-up leather, is it really takes the brand nicely. Realistically, I could also grab the black leather that I've got those extra pieces of and see if it would take the brand tonight as well, because I do have a lot of black leather that I could use. Give me a second, I am actually going to go grab it. I'm just going to mute the mic, I'm going to leave the cameras on. So one moment. Okay, so that made a better impression, but it's still not like leaving a very good brand. So that was the second one. That was a 22nd with the brand. We're gonna do it now again just to see here. But if this one doesn't work, then I'm gonna say it is, well, actually, let's try it with the pull-up leather. Because, hey, we may as well do it with this, and then I can still at least get one out of this cut here. Okay, maybe the iron just isn't heated up yet, because that is not a very good brand for that either. So we'll give the iron a few more minutes then. Although it is interesting that this is not taking a like burn really, whereas like the pull-up is. It must just be the difference in like dye or something like that. Yeah, so that's quite a bit lighter than I normally get. Like you'll get the impression like that, but typically this will actually go black. Whereas this one here is like, there's no actual like black. You can still read the name though, so maybe that might be kind of nice to be a little bit more subtle. But I do like how it looks typically like actually burnt into the leather. So with the black, obviously it's definitely not going to show that, but whatever. Okay, well, let's unspool some of this, and sorry, I thought I heard the kiddos. I don't have the monitor down here with me, but if they are very much awake, I will hear them down here. They have good sets of lungs on them, so I thought that I might have heard them, but we're all good. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that is hotter than it was. I can smell it making its impression, so that's good too. Yeah, that's definitely not going to work on the black, although it would work really well once I figure out like hot foiling for sure. So like it's obviously made an impression, but that is not going to work. Okay, well, worth a try. Get out of here. Alright, so let's go back to the pull-up and see if it's hot enough for the pull-up leather. This one doesn't matter as much, so we're just going to put it over here. Oh yeah, there's the sizzle. Okay, so it's probably warmed up enough now. I still have the popcorn song stuck in my head. That do 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 do. They played it once at the frickin' Disney runs, and it's been like stuck in my head since. There we go. Okay, now it's hot enough. I was not keeping track of how long I actually left that on there, but you know. So yeah, you can see that it, compared to this here, it's a much clearer impression as long as I'm actually putting the correct pressure on the whole thing. So let's do one more in the middle here. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so that's a 15-minute press. And that is a nice clear, this middle one is a nice clear brand. And that's what we're looking for. So let's try this on this one here and see if we're able to use this leather at all for this application or not. And that's fine if I can't. I was just, it's a nice way to use up like the edges of the leather without having to figure out another thing for different scraps, because I am not really a leather worker. I am a person using leather as an accent for her bags. Okay, I probably need to have, shouldn't like snort that smoke. It is not very clear. That's really interesting. So that is a good, nice brand overall, but you can't really read the top atelier. Now, is that because of the dye difference? Because you can definitely read the Nekozuki, but at the same time, this is definitely a thinner leather, I think is what's happening in part. Let's see. No, it's just this is much stiffer. This is a lot more like supple. You can see that actually here, whereas this is like a lot stiffer, and I think that's mostly because of the pull-up. Okay, well, let's try that on a piece that doesn't have that dye difference, and maybe I will stand up. So I'm applying an even pressure. Maybe I'm not putting the correct amount of pressure on the top. Okay, let's pretend that this one is going to work for sure. So let's go in like we were going to cut it as well, and we need 15-ish seconds. Actually, we'll do 20 with this one. Hello, now you can't see my face, but you'll be able to see it in a second when I sit back down. Okay, now the other question is that too long? Yeah, okay, so I think what it is there is like, if I really look at this, the texture of this leather is very pebbly. And so I think it's obscuring the actual, like, obscuring it. And that's fine too. Okay, let's try one more time. Less time sitting. So we're going to go to 54:26, so 8 more seconds. Okay, I think we might actually get there. Let's do 10. Okay, maybe 6. No, that is nowhere near as clear as on the pull-up. All right, so that experiment is a failed experiment. I think, like, you just cannot, you can read the Nekozuki really well, but the atelier is like super obscured. I don't understand why. Let's make sure that it's clean. Yeah, it's all good, and you can definitely read it on the other one. It's weird though that like Nekozuki is fine and atelier is not. And it's like fine in, I wonder actually if it's like I should be stamping a different way if I'm like stamping against the grain of the leather. Because if you hold it on an angle, you can see a lot better than you can see it straight on. Okay, so let's try one more thing and try stamping it maybe this way, maybe because like interesting. So if I look at the leather here, it's actually got wrinkles running like this direction, because of course this is skin, so it's like it's gonna have character, like individual characteristics sort of thing. Yeah, better, but still not quite there. Okay, so we will be working with the pull-up leather, which means I need to go grab it, and we're going to cut some corners off of it. So I will be 2 seconds. All right, once we're actually done the ones that we need to do, we're gonna have some fun and play around with the hot foil, which is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I have a bunch of hot foil, but you know, when you're kind of in making stuff, actually we're gonna play with it right now. Who am I kidding? I am opening it. Of course we're gonna play with it right now. Anyway, this would be like for stamping glittery things. I have no clue, because here's the thing, I don't have a temperature gauge on this. Well, I can turn it up and down basically, but I have no clue what temperature this iron's actually at, which is probably going to affect how it takes. But you know what? Screw it. Let's play. Let's do one stamp on this and just see if it works. And then we'll go back to being serious and doing our actual work. Yeah, this will be the way. No, because if I stamp it this way, then that's going to be the way that it's going to show. So let's go, and we're going to go in for 3 seconds. So 1, 2, 3. Phew. So I think that would actually work on this leather if I got it figured out. Now we're going to clean off the stamp with... Oh, now you're working. Oh my goodness. Okay, so if I just go... Look at that. Okay, so this leather just needed less time, so 1. Look at that. That is so much clearer than any of the other ones we did. Although the Atelier is still a little bit meh. It's not as bad. Okay, sweet. So we can use this leather. It's just got to be a super fast press with the like super heated iron. Okay, now I got to get all this gunk off of here. There was a brush for it, but I can't remember where it was. So we're going to use... No, we're not going to use the cat scissors because those are going to be used for cat claws. This is why I was going to do it at the end, and then that was a bad decision to do it otherwise. Oh well. Not too worried about the like stuff that's actually on the plate, but I do want to get this like, gotta get the stuff off from around the letters so that they're clear and crisp. Although now we can totally do stamping on this leather that I was like, no, we can't. So ugh, plastic. Eek. Of course the metal's hot, Katie. Duh. Do not clean your branding iron with a paper clip, please. Do not want to be responsible for bad habits. Okay, so 1. Okay, it's almost cleared up. We're just going to go around and stamp on here because, oops, not over the thing that we just cleaned off. Because at this point, this one is wrecked. So it doesn't matter if I... There we go. I think I cleared everything off. So down 1. Sweet. And that one can actually be used for a label. Awesome. Yeah. So the problem with this being like, it's supposed to be super shiny. And obviously it didn't go super shiny. It does look cool though, so I do need to really figure out how to hot stamp stuff. Okay, so we're going to go in and we're going to do just, and I'm still going to run it counter to what it looks like I should, just because I do think that there's a little bit of a grain issue here as well. So 1. And 1. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ooh, that one was almost too long. 6. That's ridiculous. Okay. But that's quarter done now. 6, 7. It's a little bit too small. 8, 9, 10. We'll keep these like bits around will be like experimentation areas. So like when we come back to reheat the iron later, and when I forget that it can only be a 1 second press, we can play around with it too. 10, 11, 12. Well, that one's a little bit light, but it can go into the potential pile. So 11, 12, technically 11, 13, 14. Okay, now the iron needs to warm up a little bit because it's starting to get a little bit light in some areas. I'm going to try and see if I can zoom you in a little bit more because this is a pretty cool process actually. No, we are as zoomed in as we can be. So what did I say? That was 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, I will overstamp because then if there's anything where I'm like, ugh, it didn't turn out or I cut it wrong or something like that, 21, it can go into the reject pile. Again, something I don't know what I'm doing with, but 22, 23, 24. I feel like I should be doing something like 25. Like keychains or something like that. I don't know. Okay, so that should be 26. And we'll do like 30, I think, but we'll do the rest on the pull-up because that's what I've got cut already here. So this piece right here should work. Ooh, it's dark. Holy dark. All right. 31. Oh, that's still such a better impression. 32. 33. Probably not good for me considering that it is oil tan though. 34. 35. 36. That's what we're going to call it today. So yeah, so that is the press or impression that you get on the oil tan. Quite nice. Actually, these ones are quite nice too once I figured them out. So those are the press on. I don't know how this one is tanned. That probably would have been a good thing to figure out before I was like inhaling its fumes. Alright, we are going to turn off and unplug the branding iron because it is extremely hot. It is like, as much as I freak out about the hot knife, this is even worse. And then we need to store it somewhere safely. Where the heck am I going to store this? Because I need to cut the stuff. Damn it. And I've misplaced its little stand to keep it like elevated, and it is crackling. Why are you crackling? Creepy. Katie's brain is no longer operating for the night apparently. I also need the dies that I use to cut the stuff. And this was once again a fail, but at least I can use this for the actual like logo. Most of the tapes are like too small to actually use for the logo that I have. So this one is wide enough at least, which is good. All right, I'm just looking around and I'm like, most of the stuff that is here is plastic, which is extremely flammable. Once I'm done cutting the things, I can put them back on, like I can put this back on the plate, but I need this plate to be able to use the die to cut the things. It's still very warm. And the thing over there is also plastic. Damn it. I guess I could rest it actually on the test leather. That would work. So all I need is like a barrier between the desk and the branding iron, so that we don't damage the desk as well, or any of these like wires that are conveniently draping everywhere. Actually, and I'm gonna move it over. Yeah, okay. I'm gonna mute the mic and I'm gonna move it over so that it's not sitting where we're working. So I'll be right back. Alright, so I'm extremely glad that the mic was off for that. I didn't swear, but I am very sorry for the ride that you guys took when I casually knocked over my ring light. That's always fun, right? So, okay, I did open the window because it still smells over here, so we're going to get some fresh air moving through here, hopefully. This is one of the presses that my children very much love to play with. It is extremely heavy, because of course it is. So I remove the handle because they kept pulling it out, in part, and in part because I don't want them pulling this press onto their little tiny toes. It's an arbor press. Basically, one of the only things I use it for is actually cutting out these things. So what we've done now is, and what I'm going to do, maybe if I can find my shears, I probably shoved in underneath a bunch of fabric or moved back to where they're supposed to live, whatever. Usually I would cut this right here along the side of these, but whatever. We're going to line this up. Is that the right size? That does not look like the right size, even though it's the one that's got the like leather residue. Interesting. You can't tell me that my logo has gotten larger. Okay, I gotta go get the larger die. One moment. I'm just gonna unclip you here. I'm not even gonna mute you. Okay, the next step up was the right one, I think. And there's definitely more leather goo in it, so we're going to go with that's the right one now. Okay, so what we do is we line everything up, careful as we can. This is where a lot of rejects happen. I've done this a couple different ways. I've cut them out and then I've branded them, and I've branded and then cut out. And I find that I make less mistakes by branding and cutting than I do cutting then branding. So I'm just going to kind of try and center that as best we can so that the pressure gets the proper thing. I have to stand up because this requires quite a bit of pressure to actually cut. And so you need the proper leverage, and then it still needs a little bit of a wiggle to get it out. But there is a branded label for Atelier Nukazuki. Now, I did find out after I purchased my custom stamp that they actually make dies where it's basically like, or a brand that would include this circle, and then I could just throw it under something like this and cut it. So when and if my brand ever wears out, or I feel like upgrading, that is one of the first things I'm going to do. Always annoying to find out about stuff after you've done your big purchase. But the stamp is custom done by a company down in the States called Leather Stamp Maker, and they did a fantastic job. So I have no complaints about the company, just about my understanding of everything when I was enthused about purchasing stuff. This little bit here, it's fiber, skin fiber, so we'll just trim that down with a pair of scissors when I get the shears back. Basically, it's just like it cut most of the way through, but just a little bit missed. Also, I swear I had a snack before I came downstairs, but now I am super hungry. What? Oh, and it's almost midnight. Okay, so I think we will. Well, I guess the goal tonight was to just get the everything else is a rockin'. This might not be I might need to swap out my desk for doing this. Yeah, the goal tonight was just basically to get this section of the bags done. These ones aren't curling as bad as they normally do. Actually, I think that was the other big benefit to branding them in whole pieces and then cutting them out instead of branding the cut pieces, was they didn't curl quite as much. Well, sorry, that was horrendous even on my end. What we'll do though is that we'll pop them underneath this metal plate, and then I will set this press actually on them, and that will finish their they will be flat in the morning. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much they've curled, they will be flat. And the nice thing about 36 cuts is you can do like a nice arrangement of 6 piles of 6, and so they'll be even. Might be a little bit different because these are 2 different leather weights, but whatever. We'll get it. They'll be flat by the morning. I will admit, I originally had a 12 by 12 cutting mat, like polypropylene board for this, because that's all the Tandy had when I went to buy it, and it was extremely dangerous. This 6x6 is so much better because it just sits on here. It's not tilting and trying to buck off the leather plate or the metal plate and everything like that. And then this is actually just a piece of scrap metal from a local metal smith company, which they very generously gifted to me. All right, so there is the pull-up leather cut. Now we'll go in and we'll cut the new stuff. There we go. This one definitely has more curl to it than the pull-up does, though. So, although admittedly, that pull-up leather is very stiff in temper, so this is much thinner. I think this might just end up being brand leather. It's like, no, it's the same depth. It's just, yeah, it's like, this is so much stiffer. And this is much less stiff. Interesting. Wonder if that's like a tanning difference or if that's a just like a hide difference or what exactly. Okay. Now as these have cooled as well, they do look nicer, which is good. It's also quite stiff to cut still, so I guess it must be fine. Now lots of times I will just leave that in there. They kind of get pushed out the top anyway, so may as well. Actually no, I can't see the one underneath if I'm doing it that way, so never mind. Da, da, da. I will say that cutting and then branding is definitely more leather efficient, because obviously you're able to just cut as close as you can get them, whereas when you're branding and then cutting, you're kind of guessing how wide the die is. Now could I take the die around? Well, that would actually be one of the benefits to having the die just make an impression when you're doing the branding. Oh dear. Well, I guess if I need a new brand, that's okay. Live and learn, right? So basically it would have this ring around this, and then you would just come in with this die and do exactly what I'm doing right now still, but you'd be able to just set the die in the ridge that's already pressed into the leather, and so it'd be way more accurate, way faster, because you wouldn't have to like be looking at them every time being like, is it going to work? Is this aligned correctly? And less waste that way as well, actually, because you're not guessing and messing up sometimes. Okay. Oh, right. Might help if I actually like pull the handle all the way out. I'm going to scoot the camera around just a little bit so you're not against the desk while it's wiggling and jiggling and hopping. Alright, so now that goes into the experiment pile, so that when we heat up the iron next time, we can like press it on pieces that we're not committed to, and see if it's warmed up enough yet or not, basically. Actually, these are quite a bit flatter than I thought they were going to be based on the actual leather. So I think it's still going to need a little bit of TLC, but like that's nowhere near as bad as some of the ones I've done with the pull-up leather. So I am actually frankly impressed compared to what we were working with when we started. So just gonna make sure that the iron is all the way hot and it's like a 1 second press, because otherwise it gets obscured. Makes sense. It like burns together basically. Ugh. Okay. No. Okay, no, that one's got to go through again. Must not have had it very well centered or something like that. So we'll pop it so that it's this way and around. Oh yeah, there we go. You can hear it actually cut through there. And again, we can do any cleanup we need to do within like shears and stuff like that of the like little bit of fiber, any little bit of fiber leftovers. If you're curious why I'm cutting all these out, I am making Kato bags for pop-up with the Ancient Arts Yarns on Saturday. I think it's studio hours, so I'm pretty sure studio hours are 10 to 4. The studio is down on Manitou Road. They're basically right across from Shaw GMC on the Blackfoot. And yeah, I will be there. There will also be Her Leather Co., Ginger Snap That, obviously Ancient Arts Yarns. They'll be giving dye studio tours, and there is someone else I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's all the information on the Ancient Arts Yarns web page. There we go. And they'll have a special colorway, and it is very pink and very glorious. I love it. All right, I know we have more to do, but there is a small child calling for me. So we're going to head out for the night. I will finish these in the morning. We can press them during the day tomorrow afternoon. During the day, at least. I will not be back on until tomorrow night, and then I will be back on Friday to wrap up whatever we can wrap up for the pop-up. And I'm going to cut this last one just so I do wrap up on a section. So I hope you all enjoyed that process of experimenting to see what's actually working. Obviously it changes all the time, and it's going to change in between different hides too, because again, it's individual animals that are providing these. Alright, but I'm quite pleased with how that's come out. So I hope you guys all have a fantastic night, and I will chat with you all tomorrow evening when I come back to probably glue these on, is the next step that we'll be doing on the stream. So